are back. So, I'm Micah,
I'm Jay.
and this is Married with Opinions. So, we want to start this one off in reading a comment that someone left for us, and that's kind of a book, but at the same time, like I said, keeping true, we do read these, and we're going to respond to them. So, this came off of Married Opinion, episode 4, When Do Exes Stop Being Exes? Seems to be a lot on that one. The fuck? So anyway, we said, you never truly answered the question.
Mm-hmm.
Give some examples, in your opinion, when an ex stops being a friend. So I guess, yeah. Was it because he/she called at inappropriate times? Was it because of the types of things he or she wanted? And Mike, why do you keep exes as friends? Your wife doesn't seem thrilled about it. There may be some deep-rooted insecurity preventing you from severing ties. Friends is a word used loosely nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
All romantic relationships don't end badly.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever two people decide to break up, it's okay to be cordial, maybe even connected on social media, but calling, texting, hanging out, making plans together, no way. A friend is a person who you can call on. Who can call on you anytime, respectfully. If you're truly friends with an ex, then you've never truly ended the relationship. You simply change the dynamic enough to allow space for relationships with other people. And you hope the new people are understanding, open-minded. This isn't good. Nobody wants to feel added to a harem of men/women. So what if you married one? We all want to feel like the only one that matters. Well, harems in Africa. No, I'm just kidding.
I like them.
Harems in
But
Africa.
I'm gonna tell you what's funny. I've never dealt with the insecurities in relationships.
Right.
Probably because I wasn't invested enough.
Gotcha.
Probably because I didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
But I was never the jealous type or any of that. Not that my issues with it was stemming from jealousy.
Gotcha.
It was just that you have all these friends, and yeah, someone were calling at inappropriate times. Because if I'm calling you that late, that's because I want some deep. In general, back in the day, that's how it was. If I was calling you that late,
And I was always dick in a glass case. So
I mean, we ain't gonna talk about it. Carry on.
So with this book that's been presented here, yeah, you already know how I am. I know this person specifically. You know how I am. You know I got to say something about you writing me these paragraphs.
It makes sense though. It does. It truly does, because
honestly, it's only probably about 5 sentences. But yeah,
even then, she has a lot of points.
Yeah.
Because with that, it's like, is there a bit of an insecurity? Are you afraid of letting people go? Because I don't. Bye. And for me, there was also a way for me to gain closure on the situation as well. Mm-hmm. Because, as y'all know, women are more emotionally driven. Mm-hmm. And so if I'm hanging on to that baggage,
right,
if I'm still in contact with you, that's not letting anything go. It's just lingering. It's just going to be lingering there. And putting an extra bag on my back and walking around with it.
I mean, I never really looked at it like that. I really didn't. I'm going to just be honest because even when we brought it up in the last one, I never looked at it from I really never did look at it that I might have some kind of insecurities and letting things go. Mm-hmm. It's, there's a lot going on probably, from, having certain, certain dynamics in the family, mm-hmm. to, losing my father. Mm-hmm. It could be anything, and I don't know where.
Or could it just be that you're the nice guy?
That could be.
You don't, because let's be real. You stayed in a relationship that you knew was horrible,
right?
even after you already knew, I'm not going to introduce this person to my kids.
I did. Because I wanted to make, because the thing was, it's like, okay, for me was at that point in time, like I said, being the nice guy, because I wanted to make sure I had everything built up on a reason to leave instead of just bouncing, because I didn't want to be that typical person of like, and here's what I'm saying.
Of just saving themselves.
Hold on, let me finish.
Carry on.
Self-preservation, yes. But I should have, the thing was, just because we ain't sleeping together that much, that might be the reason we need to go. That he might leave. And I've heard several of, he wants to go have sex with somebody else. No, let me make sure all my other ducks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of me being the nice guy, wanting to kind of be above. I feel like I'm elevating and not being the typical nigga that out there, or the typical dude that just leaves for some bum ass reason.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about me keeping exes around.
Mm-hmm.
So, because, like I said, my insecurities, I never really addressed them. I don't know why I would need to. I don't know. Maybe it's because I was
a therapist in here.
Yeah, maybe it was because I was told you never know if you end up losing. You have a friend, you never know when you might need somebody. That was one thing that I was told growing up.
Yeah, but just because you end on bad terms doesn't mean that bridge is burned either. I mean, or just because it's over doesn't mean that you need to keep those ties either.
This is true,
and that doesn't mean you can't ever call on the person.
Right. But,
I mean, that's what they say about when you quit a job. You always want to at least do a 2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
That way, if you need to go back to that job, you might, you'll be better accepted.
But one of the bigger things was that was brought up in these couple of sentences. Like I said, I'm joking about a paragraph because if you see how it looks on the phone, it looks like it's like forever and ever. Just calling and hanging out with them.
Mm-hmm.
The one that got us together.
Mm-hmm.
That's about the only one that I really at that time was just hanging out with.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't calling on the exes all the time too.
But with that, y'all was so far withdrawn from each other.
Yeah, that
it wasn't a recent breakup.
Right. So the one that what we talking about where I stayed in there for like ever.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, like I said, that was the one that was like I was not trying to call that person. They were still calling me because they didn't feel they was hoping they would rekindle some stuff, but no, I didn't call that one back.
That sounds like ice.
Yes, it does sound like ice outside. Y'all probably can't hear it.
Yeah. Hopefully you can't, but
yeah. So
sounds peaceful.
Yeah, but back to that. To answer the first question, which is when does an ex actually an ex? There's no friendship. There's no what's the name? We did kind of touch on that in a way, which was you have to make when you really want to have that kind of closure.
Mm-hmm.
When it's like
because it is situational.
Yeah. And not just because they friends with mama or they friends
exactly.
with your brother or something like that. No. There was a situation where so far I was one exes. It's you really have to know that you're ready to you're really ready to move on. And that's just in a general sense. And the question I guess still is, Mike, was I ready to move on? I think my thing was because there was a breakup, I always felt just like it shouldn't be a thing of and we still couldn't be friends because this is the thing, I didn't want it, like I said, me being the nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Me being the nice guy, I was like oh.
Okay, I'm going to face you on this one, okay? I'm going to look at you. If you didn't want to bring your kids around them, why would you still want them to be your friends?
So, to answer that question, you're talking about after the breakup. Why would I still?
I mean, if no one's ever met your kids on purpose, correct?
Couple have.
Well, so you purposely brought them around.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
If you did, you lied to me. Our relationship is built on a lie.
Okay, one particular time was because I had to keep the kids.
Okay, that's not necessarily by choice.
Right.
That's because of circumstances.
Right.
You know, because the weird thing is, you probably wouldn't. When you already knew my kids, it's the whole opposite thing.
Okay, so.
But it's just if you felt like these women were not, I don't want to say worth bringing your kids around, but if you weren't comfortable enough to bring your kids around, why would you keep them around as friends?
Yeah. So, and I didn't. All right, let's kind of be specific on also which ones we're talking about here.
Because I just like you in that situation, I had, to a certain point, being the only person with the kids, I had no choice.
Right, and that was something we did.
But to kind of bring my kids with me, and they have to meet. But
let's work.
My kids didn't give a fuck about none of them niggas.
Let's work backwards. The one that I had the biggest issues with before me and you got together, which caused me my 1.5 year celibacy, yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
The one who she actually talked about that I specifically didn't, bring my kids around. That I stayed a year into the relationship, even though I shouldn't have. That person, I didn't keep them as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
The one I dated before that when it was like, hey, when I'm gonna meet your kids, kind of forceful about it, and I was like, I didn't turn around and that person, I did and kept them at arm's length, and we just kept going apart.
Mm-hmm.
But I still never brought them around the kids, and I kept that one business.
Mm-hmm.
That one I kept business, but anything else, no. That one I kept business, and they still to this day have not been around my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the one that circumstantial.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making sure I'm getting all the ones right here. Ha 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 ha! I know I'm going to hear this.
Long list.
I was the one that was circumstantial, and the kids were younger, and it was like the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We, like I said, the kids were a lot younger, and they wasn't around that often.
Mm-hmm.
They did enjoy. They played with her or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But once we broke up, and that was the one where I told you, like, her the guy she ended up marrying was really on that fuck that, don't talk to him or whatnot, because it was it was real touch and go, and we ended up just drifting off. But it wasn't like she came hanging around or whatnot, and I just really severed ties with that one. So that one hasn't been around the kids. So honestly, the only one that has was, like you said, the one that hasn't really been the recent breakup.
Mm-hmm.
The one that, that's the only one that, had kept around as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day. Now, the other side chicks, the ones that used me or whatnot, okay. So, because those situations were me being a dick in a glass case. And it was like circumstantial, or I had been friends with them for a while beforehand. Those are the ones who have been around just for briefly. That's what that was. It wasn't just like you said, my horn was a blur. That's pretty much what it was. We still gotta get a t-shirt for that one.
Yeah. But
my actual exes, so far as in you putting it in that perspective, they have not been around my kids. So, excuse me. Sorry about that.
So with that, I mean, because for me personally, if I'm not going to, by choice, bring my kids around you, you don't need to hang around in my life. That's the way I feel about it. I don't need you lingering in the background. Right. That takes up battery. What? That's like apps you're not using anymore. Right. Why would you keep them on your phone? Free up that space.
Right. But for me, like you said, a lot of it is being a nice guy. but at the same time, I still had certain boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then on top of that, just lazy. Sometimes just don't take the numbers out. Just like, fuck it, keep moving. I'll scroll past that bitch. I'm joking.
I don't care about the numbers. I'm just talking about what was the point of keeping them around in the first place. After
I think that would be
the breakup.
I think that kind of, the insecurities was not being labeled as that, want to still maintain that nice guy with me.
Man, fuck that. Be a bad guy sometimes.
Be a bad guy.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have to be Kal-El.
Not the kind to get beat up, though. Don't get beat up.
So I have to be Kal-El instead of Clark Kent sometimes.
Whatever. Captain Saberho.
Nah. With no shield. So, honestly, this one actually took a little bit longer than we thought it would.
Yeah, I think we're just going to end this
one. So, again, as we've turned around and answered these questions, I hope we answered your question of when does a person, when do they truly stay an ex? I think this was a good litmus test if you have kids. If you don't want to bring that person around your children anymore, that is one thing. But you have to really look at, do you really want that person in your life anymore?
Exactly.
And what I'm saying is not from a friend standpoint. And is she's saying I need to be a bad guy sometimes, but you can't. You have to really, when do they stay an ex? You have to. You have to draw the line in the sand as a person. It's not, and that's gonna have to be on you. It's not a definitive thing, and what I mean by that is, can it just be answered? Hey, look, when they say break up, fuck you, kick him in the ass and all that
right,
stuff.
No, not saying that at all. No. But I just know from my personal experience, if I kept in touch with somebody that was in the past, guess what I'm doing 2 weeks later? Fucking them. Because I just want some dick.
Because, we're not talking...
But that also doesn't cut those emotional ties either. But when you're having sex with somebody...
Yeah, it's going to creep back up. Well, I'm not saying... Like I said, one thing is not saying making plans to go hang out. That's definitely...
Yeah, I know, but even with that, the conversations...
No, I'm answering the question.
Okay.
Here, yeah. There was no... Since somebody asked me, they called, calling was inappropriate, but I wasn't making plans to hang out with them. Mm-hmm. That was the thing. I wasn't like, hey, let's hang out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was the thing. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but even with that, it's like, as a woman, me calling you and wanting to talk to you about the relationship I'm in now,
that's kind of crossing the line.
Because I had a guy that would do that.
Like, you brought that up in that episode.
Me and him, we were just buddies, but it was like, bruh, that's something you need to be talking to your girl about. Yeah. I can't give you no advice on how to handle your relationship.
Yeah, and if you got an actual friend, and it's like, okay, that you're not ex with, and you're like, okay, like something's on your mind. Mm-hmm. But you also have, and if they're the opposite sex, you have to catch yourself and saying, like, if you're gonna, it's like they notice something bothering you. It's like, hey, look, I got to talk to that with my person. You have to be that respectful. It's like, okay, I would say, okay, something's going on with us. Well, is it something that's like, nah, we can handle it. Mm-hmm. If that's the most you come out and you say, we can handle it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and that's friend that's an ex, that's friend that's a friend. Mm-hmm. So that, and the sad part is you can't even say the opposite sex no more.
Because I'm gonna tell you,
opposite gender. Excuse me.
I don't know if this is sad or not, but you are my best friend. Like, I have a couple of others, but you are my best friend. Everything that goes on between us, you're gonna know first. Right. Point blank. Right. Now I might vent a little bit and be like, let me tell you what this nigga did. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not calling you for a solution. I've already solved that issue with my husband. Right. Just calling you because nigga's stupid. Okay?
You've seen the intros. Of course I'm stupid.
I'm just calling you because he done messed up just a little bit.
You've seen the intros. I've messed up.
Because, the sad part is, in that relationship, not one time did I didn't ask y'all if I needed help marrying this nigga. Right. I didn't. Why would I call you to, like, look, should I? Or shouldn't I? Right. When half of them bitches unhappy anyway. What the fuck I look like? You know, they can tell me, anybody can tell you anything they want to tell you just to make it seem like life is good. And it usually is not that way.
Yeah, but not to go left in what we're talking about again. It's, you really have to know within yourself when to draw that line.
Yeah, because even friends that aren't exes, hell, sometimes you gotta cut them niggas off too.
Yep, man, she said the same thing in the in the same video. So again, you never really said, but at some point in time, at the end of the day, it starts with the relationship ending. So far as you being in a romantic relationship. Mm-hmm. And you really have to say, is this person going to still be able to give value to my life afterwards?
Exactly.
That's why some of them I kept around, like that last one, business. We haven't been able to come back amicably on business, so I'm not, so it's not like I'm reaching out to them. Mm-hmm. So if they're unable to, and usually I know business and relationships sometimes ending aren't good unless, there's actual there's actually money going back and forth. So, but anyway, you got to start there when ending the first romantic relationship.
Yeah, it's a personal choice.
Really,
honestly, like we can't make that decision for you. Don't be calling or emailing us like, "Hey, well, I'm dating. We dated, and then we broke up. We had 7 abortions together."
But at the end of the
But
at the end of the day, that whole thing about just trying to have somebody else, this other person is still, it's like you separated, but you have this other person still there, was one of the things that was said, and people want to feel like they're the only one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, because as a man,
right?
I know you. I know you don't want calling me,
right?
Even 6:00 in the afternoon, and I'm over there. Yeah, no. To me, I think that's disrespectful as shit.
Yeah.
It's also about respect. Because once you're married, shit change.
Oh, yeah.
Nah, I wasn't putting up with that shit.
Yep.
Tell them bitches bye.
Yeah, which is, I can say.
Before I do.
Yeah. Because
no.
Honestly, it's certain, for me, I do respect marriage a little bit, a lot higher than I do just boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah.
All right, well, like I said, we took a lot longer on this than we thought we were.
Yeah, so our next video, we still gonna have these same clothes on.
Exactly.
Because I'm getting up to get a drink.
All right, so
some chips.
So again, just like how we responded to this comment right here, please leave a comment below if you have a suggestion on a topic you would like us to discuss and take longer than we expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave a comment or email us at married, that's MARRIED WOP @gmail.com. So
if you can't spell married,
MARRIED.
Not you.
Oh yeah.
Never mind.
No, go ahead. Yeah. But anyway, if you can't say married, and if you're using Google Chrome, it will correct it for you on the word married. Red lines when at the bottom. Heck, I couldn't spell opinions when we was putting this together. You know how many times I had to straighten that out? But anyway,
let me tell you this. That's a whole other discussion because we gonna talk about how dumb we got after school. Retention sucks. Okay. Anyway,
I'm Micah.
I'm Jay.
And you guys have a good one. And thanks for hanging out with us.